Thank you so much for being willing to work with us with the course Volunteering, Meditation, and Positive Neuroplasticity, so that we can assist our students, your students, and the Osher lifelong learning students that are taking this course in this transformative experience that is volunteering. And so in this course, we are going to be practicing positive qualities through two pillars. One is meditation. So we are going to start every class with a meditation, and then during the week, the students are going to be practicing one of the qualities that we are seeking to cultivate and assist us in this transformative journey, like compassion, integration, gratitude, etc. And the other pillar is volunteering, and here is where all of you come in. So it's a great pleasure to be in this Zoom meeting with the three of you. I'm going to invite each of you to talk a little bit about your organization, briefly, what's the people that you serve, and especially also what kind of volunteering will our students, the meditation, volunteering, and positive neuroplasticity students will be able to do with you. And afterwards, we are going to go to each of you and talk about the requirements. So Tom, would you like to begin?
Well, certainly. Thank you, Amelia. So my name is Tom Larson. I'm with the San Francisco Education Fund, and we've been around for almost 60 years. And our primary purpose during that time has been to recruit community members to volunteer in San Francisco's public schools. And there are opportunities basically in every grade level, every subject matter area to help out, either as a classroom assistant or as a one-on-one tutor. And we also have opportunities to mentor a student. If you're interested in that non-academic big brother, big sister type relationship with a student, then that's a program that we have and that we've worked with very closely with the school district in.
Thank you for clarifying that there are opportunities at all the different levels from K to 12, right?
Yeah. Yes, it depends on what teachers are looking for, but there's a lot of variety. And we ask for people to volunteer, well, for the semester. If it's one-on-one tutoring or classroom assistant, if you want to mentor, that's going to be a longer period of time, but we'd love to have the help, and teachers and students really rely on it each year. So
okay, and people will be connecting with you for that. Okay, so Grace, would you mind going? I mean, we are going to reverse the order. First, each one presents about their organization, and then we talk about the requirements on the inverse order, to be fair here for everyone. Okay, Grace, could you tell us what is your organization and what population it serves, and what would be the opportunities to volunteer? What would our people be doing with your people?
Okay, sure. Thank you, Amelia. Refugee and Immigrant Transitions has been in the Bay Area since 1982. I think the best programs for your students in the meditation class is the one-on-one tutoring, virtual tutoring. We do ask a little bit more commitment because we believe that it takes time for the student to learn English. So our commitment is to complete 50 hours of tutoring time. So that 50 hours could be 3 hours a week or 2 hours per week for 6 months working with adult, or 9 months working with youth. So we believe the longer commitment you have, you build a trusting relationships and also a good rapport with the students. And that's the time when they grow, you see them grow, you share the joy, and also you can see them be able to become self-sufficient. Our main goal is to help newcomer family to become self-sufficient in the new community, our shared community here. We serve students from 50 different countries. We have office in Oakland, San Francisco, and South Bay. Primarily in San Francisco location, we have we have a lot of Spanish speaking students on the wait list waiting for a wonderful volunteer like any one of your students.
Great.
Thank you.
So it will be people that are really refugees or immigrants from Central America and other countries, and 60 to 70% are from Central America and waiting to be peer one-on-one. And what would the volunteer do, like briefly, when in the one-on-one?
Yeah. Also, I want to, emphasize that our agency only serve low-income family. So they are basically during the one-on-one tutoring time, we will find out the student learning goal, what they want to focus on. They could be try to find jobs. Parents that got here, new community, they want to find jobs. They want to find a good school for their children. And maybe if you match with a student, a youth, then you will be helping them during the homeworks, doing all the homeworks or preparing things that they need to be more successful in school, in the new school in the Bay Area. So it could be various different things.
Great, great. And let's clarify as we continue with the Zoom meeting that the course that we are referring to is online, and the volunteering is also strictly online, which is great because it goes beyond barriers of East side of the Bay, West side, San Francisco, wherever the people are. And Evelyn, welcome. Also, you have a wonderful program too. Could you tell us a little bit about Casa Mora?
Yeah, so Casa Magdalena Mora is one of the largest outreach and retention programs we have in the Chicanx Latinx Student Development Office. So I'm the assistant director of that space, and I lead the Casa Magdalena Mora program, which is a housing living themed program. So we have about 40 students who are admitted into the program. And just to give folks like the larger picture, we have about 200 applicants. So I share that to show like the interest in the program, but also the need of like many Chicanx Latinx students, first generation, getting accepted to UC Berkeley and wanting to find a community where they can see themselves, be around folks that speak Spanish or Spanglish or not, and just want to get more in touch with their cultural roots and understanding more about our histories. So the program is for Chicanx Latinx first year students. So what the program does is it helps students navigate the culture of the institution, helps them learn and understand more, taking classes, meeting with your professors during office hours. What does that feel like? What does that look like for you? Have you sought out any resources on campus to help you be a more successful student, not just academically, but like mental health services, for example, like through the Tang Center? In addition to that piece of helping the student transition with what are resources to help them thrive on campus, there's also the academic side, which is that we're connected with the Chicano Studies. And so they take a course in Chicano Studies with me where they learn more about social, political, and economic issues impacting our comunidades. And so they see themselves as social agents of transformative change. And we have discussions around such things like that.
Great, great. And we had talked that perhaps we could work together, that our students at OLI, which are usually 50 and older, but sometimes we get some younger ones, they will be learning about themselves, about cultivating these positive qualities, and they could share maybe with your students how is their process of learning and how is the process of learning that your students are having. And we also mentioned something, perhaps working together in Altar, since the course is an 8-week course that goes from September 22nd to November 10th, which will be around the time of El Día de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. Could you, and also we talk a little bit about maybe transitioning into Berkeley in general. So what are people are usually retired professionals or people from the community that have usually lived quite long in Berkeley and the area. So what do you see that could be that bond, and how many are, well, yeah, and then we'll go to the requirements, because you'll be the first one to talk about the requirement. Yeah,
absolutely. I appreciate you bringing up Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, because that is like an example of how the students talk about their historias, right? Their stories, their ancestors, and how do we connect that with gratitude, which I know that your students also experience. So the way that I see that collaboration is really, the space I provide my students and try to create through their energies is one where we can talk about our stories and share what that looks like, specifically with what has impacted our identities to help us explain who we are today and who we aspire to be tomorrow, the next day, or even a second from this very moment. So I think that the wisdom that your students bring in is pivotal in terms of helping our students understand how to navigate life in general, not just academically, but also personally. I feel like at Cal, we have this urgency all the time of like, go, 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 go. But Casa Mora, we really try to focus on, I'm not sure if you're familiar, Laura Rendon's work on Senti Pensante, which is very much about thinking and feeling and connecting those two to help us be better human beings. And so for me, Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, is a reflection on who are folks that have impacted your life, right? And or communities that have helped you be a better human being, that you feel it's important to share these stories with others in the hopes that it'll help them in what area of life that they feel they need that support.
Yeah, that would be a beautiful project to do together, so that both the early student can think about their own stories and their own identity and friends and the journey of learning, and then the Casa Mora too. And so what are the requirements to, what is the time commitment, and then any other requirements like vaccination or anything like that? I mean, again, this course is going to be online, but some places have requirements more than others.
So Casa Mora, I will be lecturing online through Zoom. I think in terms of students mentoring, students meeting with their mentors or mentees. If the mentor mentee feels comfortable that they want to meet the student and the student feels the same way, then I would say it's okay to do so. And just remember to always wear the face masks.
I mean in person?
In person, yes. If they ever wanted to meet, to meet for the mentoring process, they can do that if both feel comfortable. But I would encourage folks to just continue to do things on Zoom. I say this because, campus is saying students are coming back, right? So in the event that both audiences wanted to do that, I would say just follow protocol with the mask. But I would encourage just Zoom is sufficient.
And it's not saying it's the 8 weeks of the course, right?
Correct. Yes, I would say like meeting at least once a week would be great. It can be anywhere from like 40 to 60 minutes. I think it's depending on the nature of the conversation, the nature of what both folks want to learn about. In the past, I know the students that participated in your program, they very much appreciated the time that they received from your students. And sometimes that meant 60 minutes, sometimes that went a little bit over 60 minutes, but that was between them. I'm saying no more than 60, and it can be less if that's what the nature of the relationship calls in that particular moment.
Okay. And then you don't ask for TB test or COVID vaccination or live scan?
That's correct. No, not on my end. No, I do not.
Okay, great. So please stay with us for as long as you can, and we'll continue to the requirements of the other two groups, which are serving a very large population and also working with other organizations. And so they have different kind of requirements. So Grace, what are the requirements? You mentioned something, if our students are working with your students who are youth, it will be at least 6 months, solid 6 months commitment, and then with the opening to continue later if they want to continue. In fact, when we started this course, which was in 2013, some people started volunteering with refugee transitions, and they are still volunteering. So it's a wonderful, also it's very nice to have a longer process of seeing a person or a group of people. But okay, so minimum 6 if it is an older immigrant, 6 months, and 9 months if it is a youth And then is it an hour a week or 2 hours a week? And then what other requirements do you have?
So it's usually student meeting 2 hours a week to go over the material that it is. We want to bring, we want to teach, our primary focus is to help the student, the newcomer, to learn to communicate in English, to be better in English, or in order to navigate the system here. Also maybe navigate their life, you know, what they, any questions they have. You know, I have volunteer that start on the same day that I start working. So we're just almost like 10, 12 years now, still continue working with a family. A lot of wonderful story like this, and volunteer would just become a friend, or, you know, a close friend with the newcomer. They see them grow, like they see them from coming here with no jobs and find them jobs, and then the kids are graduating from high school and going to college, and all this wonderful story. So it could be, you know, a minimum is 6 months for adult and 9 months for youth, but it could go on and on and on.
Okay, and 2 hours a week. So it sounds like a lot, but it's just once a week and 2 hours. But then there are a few other requirements, right?
Yes, we require, the first would be to fill out online applications form, and then we have a self-guided online orientations. So that takes about 2 hours. We share some videos, share about our missions. The video is very good to watch, even just to get to know more about the community, or like some of the population that we're serving. And after that, you will have a half-an-hour interview with one of our staff to make sure that you will be a good fit for our program, and to answer some of the questions that the volunteer might have. After that, will be followed with a virtual training, because you will be working with the students. You're supposed to know some of the curriculums, training, teachings. So we will train the volunteer to use some of the curriculums, and share with them how to use our curriculum, plan your lessons, and how do you, you know, use Zoom as well, because it's mostly in Zoom, virtual distant learning. But if, you know, it's allowed that if the students and the volunteer, they both agree and they love to meet each other, they could be meeting in persons, you know, once in a while for outing.
For now, we're only talking about online.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Only online.
in the future, when we are over Delta variant and all that, and if they continue after the 9 months. Okay, great. And so we have the life scan. You mentioned
the life scan. I haven't mentioned the life scan. Life scan fingerprint is requirement for our volunteer. So we have an agency that's in downtown. Then they can give us a discount rate. So it's about $33 for the volunteer share of payments. We take care of the most of the other fee. So roughly it's about $33. So if they're not meeting in person, they don't need to show the vaccination card. They don't need to do any TB or anything, other things. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So it would be the live scan and the commitment to 6 months or 9 months and 2 hours a week.
Yes. And as I mentioned earlier,
and the training,
yes.
The self-orientation, self-paced orientation, and the training. That's great. Yes. That's great.
And also, as I mentioned earlier, you also say that you understand our population. Most of them are Spanish-speaking students, newcomer. It will be great, wonderful to have some volunteer can speak some Spanish or understand the Spanish culture. It will be a great way to communicate with the students when they're in a literacy level.
So you are right now giving priority to people that speak Spanish or Cantonese or Mam. We are going to send the whole list of the languages that your other 30% speaks. But yeah, so if someone doesn't speak one of the languages in that list, can they apply or not? You are mainly giving preference.
They're still encouraged to apply. I will try my best on on my side to find out which student is more advanced to match with your the volunteer.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the ones that are beyond the literacy level could work perhaps with people that don't speak Spanish or mom or something, Maya. Okay, and then Tom, you were the first, now you are the last. What are the requirements to collaborate with the San Francisco Unified School District? And these are children that also come from needed communities, right? Low income or mixed or
Yeah, I think if you look at the student population in San Francisco, the public school population, it's about socioeconomically that about 50% of the families who would qualify for free and reduced lunches and various programs like that. You know, we ask for 1 hour a week.
okay.
And that's for mentor or for tutor training. But we do have to adhere to some of the requirements that the school district has set. So even though you'll be volunteering virtually, you do need to get your TB test done, fingerprints, and we ask you to download a scan of your COVID vaccine card. So those are requirements that the district and the Ed Fund have arrived at via an MOU. The Ed Fund also asks that you complete a tutor training or a mentor training, and that you provide us with 2 references. So we do have some hurdles you have to jump through, but over and above that, we try to make the process as easy as possible and to get you as well prepared as possible. And in speaking with Amelia, we've determined, well, usually we ask that people volunteer for an entire year for the same reasons that Grace mentioned, that students need that continuity and you want to create a long-term relationship. But we do have teachers who will say, hey, if I just have a volunteer for a semester, that's great. That's going to be a big help. And I think that's what can work with your schedule in terms of the class work that you have and the duration of the class.
Right. So option 1 is the one about being classroom assistants or one-on-one helpers in school,
Yes.
in a school with a student that the teacher would determine. And that's how many hours? 1 hour a week. And that would be, yeah.
That, yes, if you wanted to do academic tutoring or be a classroom assistant and just help the teacher with whatever they needed during that hour that you're there, then that's 1 hour a week and it's for this one semester.
So it would
If
be
you
from
wanted to,
September 22nd when our class starts to
right,
December, to the 3rd week of December. Okay.
yes, which is when
But-
the semester ends. But with the mentor program, if you wanted to have that big brother, big sister type of relationship, because of the social nature of that it's not academic, it's forging that personal relationship, then we do ask, if you want to join that program, that you commit to meeting with your student for a full calendar year. Just so that's a much bigger commitment than tutoring, and we welcome both. So whatever you would be interested in doing, there is demand for it. So we can find a spot for you.
It's just so wonderful to have meet the 3 of you and for our students to see you and know that they can come to you with questions. I'm going to put down there the connection with you so that they can reach you. And we are going to also send this in a written way so people can also remember. But it's this talk that we have had is just totally precious. I mean, it's just wonderful. Thank you so much for willing to work together on this transformative journey. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other words that you want to add to just about anything?
I would just say, I would love to have anyone's help who wants to get involved with the Ed Fund, and my job is to make the process as easy and straightforward as possible. So I'm available to answer every single question you have. I've been with the Ed Fund for 7 years, so I can answer every single question you have.
I would say because of COVID, we don't travel to different country. I think this is the best experience that you meet someone from different country and learn their culture and, you know, be able to be a part of it to share our own culture with them.
Great, beautiful.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, because anytime we as in like CLSD is able to have any students that are wanting to mentor our Chicanx Latinx students, we welcome that opportunity. So thank you for that. It's always needed in our community.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you. Perfect. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.